Hello humans! Today I wanted to talk about this guy right here. This is my watch. I've had a couple people comment on it recently, so I figured I'd finally go ahead and talk about this, talk about what made me buy this particular watch, and sort of the thought process behind carrying a watch at all in the modern age when everybody has a phone. So to start off with, this is the Vario 1918 Trench. This particular version is the brass version with the black dial and lume, orange lume. Bunch of fancy words, point being it glows in the dark and it's brass bodied instead of stainless steel bodied, which a lot of them tend to be. So this is a nice watch. It costs about 560 Canadian dollars. I get that like watches can go up to stupid prices. This is not that. This is a price-wise mid-range watch. And I'm quite happy with that for what it is. So what is it? Should I pull the full button off? I can't take it off that way, so I have to unscrew it. Which could be done. It's not the end of the world by any means. But I think just for now I'm just going to show it off like this. So this is obviously a World War I replica watch. Not replica, inspired watch. These are made in Singapore. You can actually see it's got a really nice engraving there on the back with the World War soldier and his rifle. So, watch is made in Singapore. Company's called Vario. This is the 1918 Trench brass bodied. They also come in a silver body. They have case diameter of either 37 or 40 millimeters. This is the 40 millimeter version. The 37 millimeter version has the 6 getting cut into by the second hand, which I didn't want. It has an automatic action, or movement, I guess is what watch people call it. They call it an adjusted Miyota 82S5 automatic gilt movement. I don't know. The fact that it was an automatic movement mattered a lot to me. I've had other watches in the past, battery watches, when I was living up in Yellowknife especially, that had a very hard time due to the extreme cold. Even wearing them on my watch, like it'll be consistently 40 below pre-wind chill for like 3 months, 4 months, sometimes longer. So because of that, it was very important to me that I got something with an automatic action that didn't have a battery in it. I also wanted brass because I am a huge fan of brass. I like the coloration. I think it looks really good. I think it wears really good and ages really well. So I wanted something brass. And I wanted a leather strap. In particular, I wanted a strap where the adjustment was just hook and loop style rather than having like stretchy or removing links, stuff like that. I didn't want to deal with that. I just wanted something that I could strap onto my wrist and run from there. And at my price point, which was under 1,000 Canadian dollars, there's actually not a lot in that world that seemed to be very accessible because of the fact that I wanted an automatic action. And that's what made this very difficult, because I knew for sure it had to have an automatic action and it had to have a brass body, which were like the two big things for me. The fact that it was a bunt strap instead of, or even just taking off the bunt, that really and truly just boiled down to the fact that I like how it looks. I think it looks really good. It keeps my wrist from getting all gross from the back of the watch, and especially turning green because this is a brass-bodied watch. As you can see, you know, the back of the actual watch is this nicely engraved piece that you can also get clear ones for the back, but it just wasn't what I ended up going with. You can get a whole bunch of different colored leather. This one here is what they call cinnamon. There's a darker one that's mahogany, and then a lighter one, caramel, and then you've got a green, there's blue, gray, and a black. I like brown. I'm a huge natural colors guy. I wear a lot of military surplus when I'm wearing nicer things, so I wear lots of green, obviously. A lot of leather jackets in browns, classic motorbikes. Like, I love that whole aesthetic. So for me, bun strap, one, fits in with that aesthetic beautifully, and two, having it this nice brown color that has aged really well, which I do appreciate. For adjustment, we have this crowned dial. Screws on, pulls out, super simple, as you would kind of expect. You do have other options for the actual rear of the case. You can get a clear one to see the internal action, which makes sense. It has 10 atmospheres of water resistance, which for me is plenty because I don't wear this when I go diving. Like, that's not what I wear this for. I don't wear this when I swim because I actually care about my hydrodynamics when I swim. So it's not worth it to me to wear when I swim, and just pulling it off when I am showering or whatever just makes sense to me. Like, it's not something that I need to be particularly waterproof. As long as it is rainproof, I'm perfectly happy. So yeah, I ended up settling on this guy right here, due in part to price, but largely just because aesthetically this really interested me. The fact that it has the black dial, and there's a bunch of different color dials. You can get creams, you can get whites, off-white, like there's a bunch of different ones. But the black and orange I really, really appreciated, especially with the brass. I think it looks really good. You can get, obviously, black and orange with the steel body, but for me, like, the black and orange with the brass just looks so good that I jumped on it. Having loom wasn't super important to me, but has actually proven, because I've had this about 6 months now, maybe a bit less. And in that time, the loom has actually proven to be really helpful, which has kind of surprised me. Just being able to check my watch in the dark, especially now that winter's coming, and like I go to work in the dark and I leave just before it gets dark again, right? Like I'm at work for 6 and I leave work at about 4 most days. So I really am dark to dark, and it does help having a watch that I can see in the dark, which surprised me a little bit. I can appreciate a digital watch having like a backlight being useful for that, but again, every digital watch I've ever had, obviously, needs a battery. I work in a lot of environments where batteries just suck, and I hate changing out batteries. I hate dealing with that. And I know that some watches will say like their batteries will last 10. I've never had a watch where the battery lasts longer than 2 years. Never. And more often than not, the watches I've had, I need to replace the battery every 6 months. And that's just, it's not the end of the world, but it's a pain in the ass. I want something that I can just strap on my wrist, not think about. And I have to say, the Vario team, really, really good. They helped me with all of the import stuff. It came with this hard case. And in addition, I actually got this other strap. This is actually a really nice strap. It says gift on it. I haven't used it, as you can see by the fact that it is still in its dog poo bag. But this is a very nice looking strap. I imagine that if I was somebody who bothered to switch out his strap, this would probably appeal to me quite a bit. Again, it matches the brass beautifully, and the black and orange matches the dial, which is exactly what you want in something like this. I'm just such a fan of leather, I haven't ended up using it. But yeah. The other thing that I've really appreciated about it is when I've been riding my motorbike and stuff like that, it's worked out perfectly. I'm not going to pretend to be like a huge watch fanatic or anything like that, but sticking it on the inside of my wrist or on the outside of my wrist when I'm riding and stuff like that is super duper handy. It fits tight enough that it doesn't slide on my wrist, which is a huge bother for me. I really hate it when bracelets and stuff like that roll and slide up and down my wrist. I needed something I could tighten down, was going to stay where I put it. And to that end, this watch has actually been really great. You can see how worn in the leather has gotten just in the past 6 months, because again, this is literally on my wrist every single day, tightened down under my work gloves. So yeah, like this has proven really, really helpful to me. Having a second hand was also very important to me. I have semi-frequent minor cardiovascular events where my heart does weird shit. So just being able to have a good, reliable second hand that I can check my heart rate when it does weird shit, make sure that it's gone back on track, stuff like that was really important to me. So yeah, overall, I think that this is a really nice watch. I'm not super well versed in the world of watches, but entry level, or I guess slightly above entry level mechanical watch, this thing is phenomenal. Brass bodied, which again, it's hard to find brass, bronze, copper based material watches, especially at this price point, but even just generally that are mechanical. Right? So that was super, super nice. The customer service in Vario was phenomenal. I'm super duper happy with this. I think it's an excellent little watch, and I would highly recommend it. And now I have a video to share whenever people ask me about my watch online. So yeah, I really like it. It hit all of the things that I wanted. Again, 560 Canadian dollars is not an insignificant amount of money. I also had to pay my import on that, but honestly, I definitely think it's worth it. And at least so far, there's nothing that has made me think that it will not last potentially the rest of my working career. So yeah, I'm super big fan of this. I think it's absolutely phenomenal. Stay safe and have fun up there. Peace.